Hi, YouTubers. So, anyway, something important. Something kind of damn important, which is basically, I've been getting a lot of questions. People might say, like, what do you do for work? My job updates. And basically, I want to do a Q&A right now. Basically, this shit I'm doing right now, as in shit as shit, is basically just a Q&A discussing, what I do for work and a lot of questions because I have a hell of a lot of people, a shitload of people who ask me questions about like what do you do for work, and I just want to answer them all right now. You may have noticed in my last job update was more on the longer side. I just want to answer these questions right now. So let's jump right into this shit. As in bullshit is bullshit. First question: where do you work? I work at Roche Brothers. Second question: what is Roche Brothers? Roche Brothers is a grocery store in Massachusetts. They are only based in Massachusetts, so they are not based in any other state, unlike Stop and Shop or Kroger. Next question, which I've already answered: which state? I live in Massachusetts. Sorry, I live in Massachusetts, or Massachusetts, be so damn cold here, or damn hot to damn. And yes, so Roche Brothers is a Massachusetts only grocery store. Anyway, and yes, I'm drinking wine. Next question. What do you do? I am predominantly a carriage or cart person or wagon person, and also a grocery bagger. Next question: what does carts mean? So when I say carts, as in big ass carts like the Big Ass Cigar, for my newer subscribers, basically what that means is I'm out in the parking lot collecting carriages from a corral or a carriage return center, and basically I am bringing the carriages from the corral back into the store, the grocery store, and aligning them in the lobby. So there's a little lobby, and basically, aligning the carts to make sure they're neat, neat ass like the Big Ass Cigar, that kind of shit, and make sure, they're all neat, make sure carriages aren't, wandering around in the parking lot, and make sure, especially on Sundays, that all the carriages are in by the time the store closes, because you don't want carriages being outside at nighttime. Not that we really think anyone would steal them, but you want to be careful. Careful. It's like the Big Ass Cigar. You want to be fucking careful. Next question. What does bagging mean? So bagging basically just means being a grocery bagger. So, essentially, you'll be at the register, and people will come with their groceries, and you'll essentially just check out with them. They'll hand you the milk, the cheese, the potatoes, the tomatoes, the vegetables, the fruits, and you will bag the groceries. You are a bag boy. So that's the old-fashioned term for it, bag boy, also known as courtesy clerk, a service clerk. We call it a service clerk at Roche Brothers. It's basically just bagging groceries. So it's not as easy as it looks. Believe me, bagging groceries, you might think it's fucking easy. It's actually not fucking easy. It's actually pretty damn hard. It's a lot harder than it looks, a hell of a lot harder than it looks. You have to be especially careful. Next question: why do you work at a grocery store? So people might say, well, dude, don't you realize that's like a crap job, a shit job, working at a grocery store, pushing carts, bagging groceries, that's up there for like, pumping gas and like fixing, dirty laundry machines. Well, actually, I'm actually very happy, and that's one thing I want to emphasize is I'm actually very happy, happy ass like the Big Ass Cigar with what I do right now. Yes, I'm aware it's a minimum wage job, and yes, I'm aware I could be doing a hell of a lot more of my life, like, doctor, nurse, pilot, lawyer, all that shit, as in bullshit is bullshit. But I'm actually very happy right now. Next question: full time or part time? And the answer is, I am currently part time. Yes, I'm a part time associate there. We do have full time associates, and obviously all the managers are full time, and all the assistant managers are full time. But I am a part time associate, front end associate. I work in the front end. Next question: how do you live or survive on part time? And the answer is I currently live in subsidized housing or Section 8 housing or public housing. So I receive a discount on my rent, so I don't pay what most people pay for rent. Also, I don't pay utilities in my apartment, so I don't pay for like heating or gas or electricity or get that kind of shit. As in bullshit is bullshit. So yeah, so I receive a discount on my rent because based on my disabilities, and essentially I pay like a quarter of what I would normally pay. So I've talked about this before on my channel briefly. So if the market value in an apartment is $10,000, I would pay like 2,000 of that. So that's a hypothetical number. Anyway, pretty fucking cool. And the next comment is, or next question, sorry, next question, because these are questions, not comments. Next question, sorry, I had a brain fart there. Next question is, what is a 15-minute break? So a 15-minute break, sorry for that little abrupt intro there, that 15-minute break is basically a paid break. So 15-minute breaks, there's only two types of breaks, either a 15 or a half. Depending on how many hours you work determines if you get a break or not. If you work less than 5 hours, you don't get a break at all. Obviously, you can use the bathroom, the shitter, the crapper, but you can't have a break. And you obviously can get water, like a drink of the bubbler. If you work 5 to 6, you get a 15-minute break. If you work 6, you get either 15 or a half. If you work 6 to 7, you get a half. If you work 7 or 8, you get a 15 and a half. If you work if you work 8.5 or above, I believe, you get a 2 15s and a half. So basically, that's the long story short. So a 15-minute break is called a break because you are being paid for it. It's on company time, so the company is paying for you to be on break, and you can basically, sit down, have a cold drink. You can sit down and, do whatever. So some people smoke, some people do whatever. Anyway, and then a half-hour break. Next question is, what is a half-hour break? A half-hour break is basically a meal. People refer to that sometimes as a lunch or a dinner, depending on the time of day, because obviously the store's open at many times throughout the day. So, for example, a half-hour break is always unpaid, so you're not getting paid for a half-hour break. And basically, when you take a half-hour break, you have to. The next question is, what is punch in, punch out? Basically, there's a time clock, a fucking time clock, and you basically put your fingerprint and you basically punch in, punch out. Some companies use like little cards you swipe through. Some companies even use your eye print, your eye identity, the imprint of your eye. But our company, basically, you punch in your badge number, and then you essentially you press your fingerprint on, and it takes a photograph of your fingerprint. So, and the computer will memorize your fingerprint. Anyway, but yeah, 15-minute breaks are always paid, and half-hour breaks are always unpaid. Yes, it sucks. Anyway, or it doesn't really suck, but it's kind of like, yeah. So I mean, you don't get paid for a half-hour break, so you do lose pay. So if you're like, I'm working 6 hours on Sunday this Sunday, so I won't get paid for a half-hour break. So which kind of sucks. Anyway, next question. Why do you work so little hours? And the answer is because I currently live in subsidized housing, and if I worked more hours, I would have higher rent. Next question is, do you do anything else besides carts and bagging? Occasionally, I will collect baskets. Very occasionally, I'll return like grocery items. I'll return, items to different departments. Like I'll return like cheese or milk or deli meat to certain departments. Not very commonly. And then occasionally they'll do like a return carriage and basically, have all the returns for the day or the last couple hours, and have the person, return it to all the departments. And then the only other thing I really do is if I find like lost items, for example, like I found a lost amount of money. I found some money in the parking lot and I had to return it, obviously. So that's another thing I'll do, is like return lost items. And then the next question and last question is, why don't you work a 40-hour week, 9 to 5 desk job like everyone else? And the answer is because, number one, my disability, and number two, it's too long to explain. But right now, I'm happy working 17 hours or 16 hours or 15 hours. at a grocery store part-time. And yes, I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to pay my rent, pay my cable bill, so don't worry about me. Don't think that I'm not able to pay my bills, even though I'm only working part-time. I am fully aware most people my age who are 30 years old, they definitely work full-time. They're definitely working, 9 to 5, a desk job, doing much more advanced work, that kind of shit. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. So I've been getting a lot of questions like, what do you do, all that kind of shit. So and basically the last thing, the only other thing I wanted to add is after 10 minutes of rambling is I am happy. So don't think I'm unhappy, because I know some people, have commented in the past saying, wow, that must really suck. That must really suck that you're working at like a grocery store. And I'm actually very happy with what I'm doing right now. So don't think that I'm unhappy or I'm, really upset with my life, and don't think that I dislike my job. I actually really do like my job, even though it's a minimum wage grocery job. So I actually really like it. So anyway, Big Ass Girl Flight, pretty fucking cool. Bye.